What is up? It is Andy coming to you in the middle of the night, where I'm fishing for plus money sniffs. Like M. Schaefer, who was plus 120, but then by game time, it was minus 135. And people weren't happy about it, so now I gotta find something else. What is up? It is Andy coming to you on a busy Thursday. And I don't know, M. Schaefer, I thought as of yesterday, there was not a chance in hell we were ever going to see a plus next to that guy's name again. I mean, he 2 more points, averaging a point per game. So I don't think you're going to see him at plus money. Pretty much, unless he goes on a random cold streak, I think the days of plus money are over. But what's the next thing? What's next best after plus 105? That would be plus 100, but it's still called plus 100. What about right after? What's the next best thing right after that? Minus 105? I mean, calls me crazy, but I don't think that minus 105 is that bad for a player who's registered points in every single game. And he is tied, of all people, Marid Zidlichki for rookie with points in the most consecutive games. Now I believe he's going for the record? And you know he's going to be out there. Now he's glued to power play 1. He gets a ton of ice time. He's taken on Stevie Bong Rips' Detroit Red Wings, who played last night. Now they have to play for the second time in 2 nights. Who knows? Maybe some of the viewers can tell you some bets, because I do like that M. Schaefer point. Minus 105. I still think minus 105 is a good value. If I told you, Cale Makar, oh yeah, he's one of these defensemen. He gets points like pretty much every game. What are you pricing him at? Now, this is not Cale Makar, but this is a defenseman who is as red hot as you can be. M. Schaefer, probably the best player on the Islanders already, and he's got points in every single game. Minus 105, it's not that bad. You ask me around game time, it's probably going to be minus 135 or something like that. So minus 105 is something I can deal with. Now, if it's not you, Stevie Bong Rips, maybe I'm going to ask this crowd. The crowd's going to come back once again for a game that maybe I don't want to give any picks on, because I went through your picks when I ended the last video. I said, give me your favorite Colorado picks. And, everybody found out what it's like to be on this side of the lens, to dish out some picks. A lot of rough. All right, look at this guy. Over 2.5 shots on goal for Nick Schmaltz. He obviously scored a hat trick the other night, so he's in that shoot first mode. Solid plus money sniff. Good work there. Now, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know what made him do that, but I appreciate weird, sneaky sniffs. The under 2.5 shots on goal for Val Nichushkin, and the under 1.5 shots on goal for Gabe Landeskog. And I'm sure this guy was happy when they took that Landeskog goal away, because I would have put him over 1.5. Hey, doesn't matter around here. You get to say what my uncle says. Looked at the paper. Looks like I won. So good. How about another? And then just a guy who's showing you you don't have to overthink things. You can click 1 point for Keller, 1 point for Nick Schmaltz, and it's okay. What, it wasn't plus 105? Was it minus 105 that night? Okay, this guy doesn't care. He feels comfortable taking Keller and Schmaltz. Why? Because they're just blasting in points every single game. Keller, Schmaltz, he hit that one. And it's a reminder, you never have to say no to the simple ones. You never have to say no to any sort of fastball when it's at plus money. And that was the case last night with Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond. They're one of the elite set where you take them every single time they're in plus money, and then you wave goodbye inevitably when they return to the minus, because those days are coming. They're coming quick, because we got a Larkin and Raymond last night. And now you would imagine against the New York Islanders, who are serving up goals. We hit the over 2.5 team total for the San Jose Sharks. Yeah, we won some Pizzeria bets the other night. I guess I'll have to bring some more Pizzeria bets to the table. But Raymond, Larkin, plus money, it's as simple as that, guys. Keller, Schmaltz, there's nothing wrong with that. If I told you I had a receiving yardage prop that, oh yeah, they actually listed it at plus 110, you would be excited. So I'm going to take that plus 110 line combo for Dylan Larkin, Lucas Raymond. But then for you, Stevie Bong Rips, I mean, Patrick Kane wasn't in the lineup last night. I think it's fair to assume he's not going to be in the lineup on Thursday night. And this is the type of point prop value I just can't say no to. He got stopped on a breakaway yesterday. It would have looked good. But you know, the one good thing about a solid point prop price not working out is that maybe you get it again, even though that guy's in a good situation. And I'm talking about Marco Kasper, who's playing with Alex DeBrincat, and he's on that top power play with DeBrincat. His point prop's coming in plus 132. That is a great point prop value. He's playing with a really good player in DeBrincat. He's on that top power play, which is very good, albeit without Kane, so it's not going to be as effective. But he's on there, and that is a solid price against the New York Islanders, who just gave up 3 to the Sharks. Could have been more, but Sorokin made some saves. So I'm going to go with that Marco Kasper point coming in plus 132. And if you need a line combo, why don't we do what we did the other night with Zach Benson? We took Zach Benson with the Rasmus Dahlin assist. Give me Marco Kasper with the Moritz Seider assist. So a lot of stuff to like in that Islanders-Detroit game. This seems like a far cry from the Islanders of yesteryear, where it was just kind of the black hole of offense where goals go to die, which it seems to be everywhere in the NHL. 3 more games last night, 3 more unders. It's rough. It's rough. We need to see some goals. The more goals that go in, the better everything's likely doing around these parts. Now, look, you could have 6 goals in a game and there's plenty to go around. You could hit your point prop values. But generally, seeing all these unders is always a little worrisome from me. But always remember this about unders and trickle-down snakeonomics. It goes both ways. There's an elevator up, which we're always looking for. Like Marco Kasper, he's on that elevator up. He's on, not the top line, but he's on the second line, top power play. All the opportunity in the world. But there are other guys who get demoted in some sense, and we should feel relatively comfortable taking their under. And I see a situation like that in Nashville. We have Jonathan Marchessault being reintroduced to the lineup. Where are they sticking? They're sticking him on a third line with Svechkov and Tyson Yost. So when I'm looking for somebody in a game that I think's going to be crusty, and by the way, 2 straight nights we were able to hit our crusty under 6.5 parlays, where we took that under 6.5, then we found a way to bring it to plus money. Maybe I can do it again here, because I do think this is going to be one of the lower scoring games. But we do have Brock Besser coming back for the Canucks. But this game reads as crusty to me. Nashville, Vancouver smells like a low scoring game. But rather than chase the under 6.5, because they did make us sweat, that Penguins Vancouver game was 5-1, so we had to utilize all 6 goals. But this time around, I'm not going to go with the under 6.5, but I am going to chase that under half of a point on Jonathan Marchessault. He could still be on the top power play. He probably will be, but maybe there's a chance he's not. Maybe Luke Evangelista keeps that spot. Maybe, maybe not. But I think a guy returning from injury, so there's just a lot going for us. He's returning from injury. Maybe he's less than at 100% health. He's on the third line with Svechkov and Yost, and his under half of a point's coming in at minus 105. I think that's a solid price, but I know you refuse to take minuses. But I've always got weaselly ways. So we've taken the under 6.5 with the under half of a point for a player. Then we went on Fanduel and we took the under 6.5 with the under half of a goal for a player. What can I do here? How can I make Jonathan Marchessault a plus money bet? I'm going to take his under half of a point for minus 105 on ESPN Bet. And then I'm going to go to player goals, and I'm going to go under half of a goal for Tyson Yost. So I'm taking him and his correlated line mate. Like, you know how we take the Larkin and the Raymond overs, hoping for that plus 110? Well, I'm going to go with the under point for Marchessault and the under half of a goal for Tyson Yost. And if that buries me, oh well, I can live with it. So I'm doing a third line semi-double under, because they don't allow you to take 2 players on the same team for under a point, but you can take his under half of a goal. So weird, random Andy bet, like I told you. I'm Peyton Manning out there. I'm seeing all the sports books, and depending on what I need, I'm going to go to that sports book and use it to try to get the best value on the bet that I want to make. So under half of a point for Jonathan Marchessault, under half of a goal for Tyson Yost. But Andy, what about the Pizzeria plays? You gave us the Sharks over 2.5 goals. That was good. It helped me out. You gave me the Florida Panthers over 3.5 goals. That was good. It helped me out. What do you got for me now? I'm going to use one of the terms that people love using, and I actually hate it. I'm going to go with the rinse and repeat. I'm going to go with the Florida Panthers over 3.5 goals. Why is that? Number one, they're going home where they're undefeated and they typically play well. I think that last game opened up their offense a little bit. And I'm seeing that Marchand line, the Lundell Marchand line, connect for a couple goals. We saw Luster-Reinen score. We saw Marchand with 2 points. We got the assist from Lundell. That was another thing. That line combo, what was it? A quick plus 320, like it was no big deal. The Lundell assist with the Brad Marchand point. So if you like rinsing, you like repeating when things work out. I'm not doing it because that bet won. I'm doing it because I think they're in a good spot at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who on the right night you can absolutely smack. And I think Florida is the type of team that can kind of smack them around. Although they've played pretty well. They're coming off a couple of straight wins and only gave up 1 goal in the last 2 wins against the Sharks and at home against Vancouver. Different kind of animal going into Florida, trying to be the first team to beat them over there. So I like Florida to win that game. We'll go with the over 3.5 goals if you need to go Pizzeria style. But to me, is there a ton of value in minus 110 when you can do that same exact bet I was just talking about with the Anton Lundell assist and the Brad Marchand point? So I mentioned how that guy had Keller and Schmaltz, and it's a great thing. Sometimes it's the 2 guys who keep connecting. They're red hot. You take them. You take Larkin and Raymond. And I got another few of those, 2 more for you, that I treat them like the best money line on the market. And the first one is going to be in Winnipeg, because Winnipeg is facing this cockroach Kraken team who aren't really cockroaches anymore. That's what happens when you hire an old Islanders coach. You start conceding and conceding and conceding. We saw Philly light them up. We saw them give up a bunch of goals in a bunch of straight games, and they're giving up these goals early. Like, they're falling behind by multiple goals in multiple straight games. And as far as line combo purposes, that's pretty much what we want to see. Those prices that we were able to hit in that last video, the plus 675 and then the top line, all of them hitting came at the expense of the Seattle Kraken. Now Seattle is going to Winnipeg, and while Winnipeg's offense has not been, stellar whatsoever, I mean, they lost Ehlers, they still have that top line, obviously. And while we're not getting tremendous value on the top line, if you give me a Larkin Raymond type of situation with Velarde and Scheifele, who are also pulling a plus 110 against the Seattle Cockroach Kraken, that's something I'm absolutely going to take. Give me Velarde, Scheifele, both for a point, plus 110. But I don't know. I think we can kind of dig a little deeper because these Kraken are giving up so many goals. Like, we hit multiple line combos on Philly. Let's take a crack with line 2. I'll go with Jonathan Toews for a point. He has points in back-to-back games, starting to look better, starting to look a little more comfortable. Him and Nino Niederreiter, both for a point. Line 2, power play 2, correlated duo. I'll take them. So I'm taking a line 1 duo and a line 2 duo for the Winnipeg Jets. And I didn't forget about the Pizzeria crowd. You want a Pizzeria pick there? All these games, Seattle's just going down right away. If that happens once again, I don't know. How about a little Winnipeg Jets first period puck line? Oh man, do I hate those bets. 1 goal against and you essentially lost it. But I'm going to do it anyway. See if the Cockroach Kraken can continue to concede at the rate that they are. Give me the Winnipeg Jets first period puck line plus 120. And then lastly, let's look at that Keller-Schmaltz combo. Where are they? Where's Utah playing? Oh, they're not at home. Where are they going? St. Louis? What's going on with St. Louis? They had a lackluster game. Why is that? Because they're trying to mix and match their best 3 players, opposed to putting them on that top line where they belong, where they were cashing for us all year last year until they tried to get clever and break them up. I'm talking about the St. Louis Blues, who I kind of like to win on this particular night. Money line or you're not letting me in? Well, first would be Florida, but if I had a second one, it would probably be St. Louis, because I have a faith in that top line of Robert Thomas, Pavel Buchnevich, Jordan Kyrou. When those 3 guys are together, they almost always produce, and we know they're on all these other guys, these neighbors, these shove them down and let them be productive in the middle 6. But I want to see those big three on the top line, and they're practicing together. We know they're on the top power play. This line is coming through. I don't want to guarantee anything because in this early season NHL, guarantees have been anything but that. But I will say I have a high degree of confidence in this top line of the St. Louis Blues, and so do the sportsbooks, because this team hasn't been producing a ton. And look at the point props of those three. I got to give the sportsbooks credit on this one. The guy who's creating these lines, somebody let him know, like, oh, they got that top line together from that? No, I don't care. I don't care if Buchnevich has a net points. Minus 150, minus 160, minus 200 for Thomas. They know. I got to give them credit there. They know how good that line is, as do I, and as you will probably learn. So I'm going to go with Pavel Buchnevich and Robert Thomas, both for a point. Those three combos, albeit not crazily priced, those are the ones I feel pretty dang confident 2 of the 3 are going to hit. And as Meatloaf once said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And that is what I have for you here on a very busy Thursday. A ton of games. There are even more we could have got to, but you want to know what? This is just a load off my shoulders. I pick one game and I go, oh man, I'm asking the crowd. You didn't have a high hit rate last game, but hey, I pulled 3 winners out of that bunch. So the game you guys have to let me know your bets on, let's see who the winners are a game that should entice a lot of, well, definitely with the Canadiens. I don't know if a guy from, San Antonio wants to watch this, but the Montreal Canadiens and the Edmonton Oilers. Give me your favorite bets for that, the price you have, and where you bet it. And you don't have to be greedy. That guy last game goes, no, I don't care. I'm not falling for it. Keller Schmaltz minus 105. That's what I'm doing. And that guy was a winner. So it can be, let's set the odds max at minus 120. I think that's fair. Let me know what your bet would be for the Oilers and the Montreal Canadiens. It could be a full Pirate parlay, or it could be this, hey, over 2.5 shots on goal. That's what I like. I'm not greedy. I just want to take a little sandwich and go home. So let me know what you guys like in that game. And also, like I said, engage with the videos. Like, comment, subscribe. Call your dad. Tell him he's a cool guy. Click the notifications. And then, you could always hype the video. That's always much appreciated. I think these videos grew a little bit because of all of your hypes. And I think you only get so many per week. So I'm glad you kind of share it with me. That's very much appreciated. And I will be back with you guys tomorrow for the next round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy, and I will talk to you then.